Hello, class. This is my career speech. Imagine being able to understand the law to the letter. Imagine being able to change the nature of a court case. Imagine defending your fellow man in court from a situation that he didn't belong in the first place. I'm of course talking about becoming a lawyer or an attorney at law. More specific for me, I would like to become a public defender, which what that means is they cannot afford representation, so the state appointed them a public defender. So during my time in the military, I've seen people, myself included, get into situations that they didn't belong into. They're facing repercussions for situations that was either out of their control or they weren't even in the situation to begin with. So a majority of them didn't understand their rights, and so you're trained to basically do what your leadership tells you to do. And so, uh, if your leadership doesn't help you, well, you're going to face those repercussions whether you did it or not. And so when I became a leader, I defended my soldiers to the best of my abilities. I read regulations. I appeared before commanders in UCMJ trials just to ensure that my soldiers were being treated fairly. Not necessarily get them out of the situation because they may have done it or they may have not. That's not for me to determine. But my job at that moment was to ensure that they were being treated fairly. And so that inspired me to pursue a career as an attorney, so I could be the voice of those who couldn't defend themselves. Those are a very rewarding feeling to acquit a person who um, didn't deserve to be in that situation in the first place, or to get them a lesser sentence because the punishment didn't match the crime. So during my speech, I will discuss what it takes to become a lawyer in the state of California and why I feel it is an amazing career. So, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the description for an attorney is they advise and represent clients in criminal or civil proceedings and in other legal matters. Communicate with clients, colleagues, judges, and others involved in a case. They conduct research and analyze legal issues. They interpret law, rulings, and regulations for individuals and businesses. They present facts and findings relevant to a case on behalf of their clients, and they prepare and file legal documents such as lawsuits, contracts, or wills. So a lot of what they do sometimes it's out of court. They they could settle outside of court, or they can obviously take it to court. But a lot of what they do is outside of it because they have to prepare for what they're going to say in court. So their work environment is mostly in an office setting. They may travel to go meet with prospective clients or their current clients, either at their home, in an office, or in prison because they cannot leave prison. And so, and then lastly, they appear in court. So according to the State Bar of California, the typical duties of an attorney is they prepare complex cases and projects, presentations, and other assignments of an increasingly complex nature. They study, interpret, apply laws, court decisions, and other legal authorities of an increasingly complex nature, and are responsible for the preparations of legal documents, pleadings, memorandum, reports, opinions, and other material of an increasingly complex nature. They identify legal issues regarding decisions by his or her superiors and taking timely steps to present such issues together with recommendations for action. So the employment growth, for according to the Bureau of Labor of Statistics, is only 4% as an average. Um, they get paid very very well, so there's not a whole lot of room for growth. Um, but it is a very rewarding career. So that's the biggest thing for me. And the qualifications for becoming an attorney, according to the State Bar of California, is they have to study at a law school that's accredited by the American Bar Association, or they have to go to a state bar registered law school, and or they also have to have 864 hours at an accredited correspondence school or distance learning school. And the lastly, they could have study under the supervision of a judge or an attorney, and or they can have a combination of the programs. They must pass the California State Bar, and they have to go through a background check and receive a positive moral character determination in front of an ethics board. Lastly, they have to not have anything pending in family court regarding child custody or child support. So the earnings for an attorney, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is they get paid 151,160 per year, and that's the median pay for a lawyer. Also that's also 72.67 an hour. So they get paid fairly well. Obviously, it takes a lot of school to get there, but I feel it is worth it in the end. And so during this next segment, I will be covering the pros and cons of being an attorney and how it would affect my decision. So according to CareerExplorer.com, some of the advantages of becoming a lawyer is there is various career paths. You don't necessarily just have to be a public defender or a prosecutor. There's private practice. A lot of that, they have like litigations. They do things outside of court. Um, they do government work, obviously, as a prosecutor or a public defender, and they have public interest law. They make really big impact and influence opportunities to make a positive impact on society through the law. And that's big for me because, I do enjoy helping people. And so obviously, as an attorney, you can have a very, very big impact in court cases and change people's lives. And then continuous learning to stay informed on the laws, regulations, and legal precedents. So you will always be fully informed on how the law works. And I feel that's very rewarding in itself. And so some of the disadvantages, according to CareerExplorer.com, is they have long hours and stress. They have high pressure and responsibilities because, you have someone's life in your hands. Depending on what you say or what you present in court, your client's either going to go to jail or he's not. And that's a very high stress situation. And obviously the work-life balance, along with the long hours and stress, because obviously you have to prepare for court. You have to do a lot of research. You have to do a lot of preparation, and that takes a lot of time. And unfortunately, a work-life balance is very difficult when you're a lawyer. So lastly, I'll cover my reflection about the pros and cons. So for pros for me, uh, during my time at Los Rios, I learned I love reading old court cases. It's wild to me that we have come a long way from as a nation. Some of the things that we take for granted today that we do legally was not only illegal, you were going to go to prison for it. And I find that actually very, very interesting. Just some of the changes in law, even more within the last 20 years. It's actually pretty wild to me. So I really do enjoy reading old court cases. I love helping people. I really do. It is one of the biggest things that I took out of the military is I enjoyed assisting my soldiers in, their lives and, telling them their benefits and even helping them through some UCMJ trials. And forever learning about the law. It's something I learned at Los Rios that I really enjoy reading about our Constitution. I enjoy reading about laws and regulations that we have, just to keep us as a country. But some of the cons that I struggle with and might change my path eventually is the long hours of stress. I was kind of hoping to work more remote and give legal advice, but obviously I have to start somewhere. I have to start with going out there, and experiencing court and things of that nature, because I want to be able to spend more time with my family, because the military took a lot of my time, and I want to make up for it and spend more time with my family. And the work-life balance is, just it's like I said, I struggled with that in the military, and now I'm going into another career to struggle with it some more. So, lastly, like I said, it is a very rewarding career, and I think I'm going to pursue it. Um, since the military, it's something I've always wanted to do. I've helped a lot of soldiers with their issues, not only just at UCMJ, but like just some of the things that basic things that I've noticed that they didn't know how to do. Their taxes, for example, or things of that nature. And and believe it or not, there's more complexity to taxes than just doing them. And so it's very rewarding to be able to assist them, and that's pretty much why I want to become an attorney. I want to help people. And so thank you all for your time. I'm looking forward to hearing your career speeches. Thank you.